All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Business of Coaching Workshop. Today, I'm excited to introduce our guest, Alexander Kodoma, the founder and master shapesmith of Bjorn Fitness in Potsdam, New York. Alexander transformed his own life after facing an autoimmune diagnosis and personal setbacks, turning those challenges into a mission to guide others through evidence-based fitness in a community hit hard by the pandemic. With certifications from NASM, Strong First, and Flexible Steel, he's built a gym that emphasizes accountability, personalized programs, and a supportive environment. Today, Alexander will share his journey and insights on creating a hybrid coaching model that blends the intimacy of in-person training with the accessibility of online support using TurnKey Coach. Alexander, thanks for being here. Let's get started.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate it.
So take me back to when, as far as I understand, you were 21 and had a back injury that hit you hard during some early training days. How did that, plus dealing with your autoimmune diagnosis and some tough personal stuff, light your fire to jump you into coaching and launching Bjorn Fitness?
Gosh, you just hit like 15 things at once there. So yeah, the back injury, I was doing like glute ham extensions, and my back just flared up because I didn't know what I was doing. And turns out I actually hurt my back as a kid. I jumped off a roof when I was a kid, and I had back pain throughout high school, never really paid attention to it. And then my back flares up, and I suddenly couldn't put socks on without falling down. So I had to figure out how to continue weight training without being able to use my legs for the first 6 months of my weight training adventure. So like,
Wow.
I got super excited about this whole thing and was like, oh, this is great. And then was like, everything is awful all at once. And I, at the time I was actually homeless. No, just out of being homeless. I was living in my brother's apartment, just sleeping on his floor. And I worked at Walmart. And I wanted to turn my life around. I was obviously very depressed. And a big part of it was I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is just a thyroid condition that mostly affects women. Mm-hmm. And so I was tired all the time, and I finally got enough money to go to a doctor about it from like my job at the time, which was just Walmart. And the diagnosis got me thinking a little bit more about, my health, especially because I didn't respond well to the medication when I was first diagnosed. And so the doctor said that I might not need meds until I was 30, as long as I started weight training. So that's when I started weight training specifically.
Okay.
And
That's interesting that the medical community, which is, not well known for prescribing weight training, actually gave you that as a starting point.
Oh, yeah. Actually, my primary doctor apologized to me when he found out that I had this condition, because he was like, we would have just had you start exercising.
Wow.
So it is very, it slows down the process. If you have enough muscle mass, it does slow down the process of Hashimoto's specifically. And I ended up going through some rough time, some alcoholism, and that sort of thing, up until the end of that year. And I just kind of started jumping on turning everything around. So I got sick of being on the floor of my brother's apartment. He didn't even live there. He just had an apartment. So I just slept on the floor there. I got sick of that. So I started applying myself at work. I started applying myself at school again. I stopped drinking completely for almost an entire year. And I started working out, and then everything was great. And then I hurt my back. So that's when I decided to sit down and say, okay, I need to learn everything I possibly can about how to actually work out, how to exercise. And that just brought me down this rabbit hole. Eventually I started coaching my friends and family, but it took about 6 years before I started being confident enough to actually help other people. But around year 2, I realized that I could do it because I was helping a coach that was coaching me coach the rest of his class. And I paid $2,000 for that class, and I did not feel
Wow.
happy about that. So,
Yeah. Well, a couple things there. It's interesting you mentioned the 6 year mark because I've thought of this over the course of my career where I've gone into new industries or new major job shifts. And there's something about that 5 to 6 year mark that I've noticed is when it happened when I was a nuclear engineer in the Navy, when I was operations management in the manufacturing world, and I felt it also right around that time as a coach that the 6 year point was where I started to have a sense of what I felt confident in my own abilities in a different way. Like I actually had a sense of what's going on. But that's just kind of a side note. Back to your story, though, I'm curious. I mean, you mentioned getting kind of sucked into, it sounds like maybe some sort of like an influencer program or something.
this was so I went to Binghamton University. This was a school-sponsored class.
Oh,
I actually am still paying the debt for that class.
oh, wow.
Yeah, that class was just a summer class.
So before you got Bjorn Fitness off the ground, was that one? I mean, were there other frustrations that kind of led you to wanting to create your own space?
Oh yeah, so the town that I live in right now, um, it's a small town. There's like 20,000 people in the town and 100,000 in the county,
Hmm.
um, and it's the biggest county this side of the Mississippi. But the gyms that were here when I opened uh, the Buren Fitness were the 2 school gyms that have horrible hours. So for months at a time, I really wouldn't have that much access to the gym. Or there was this like kind of CrossFit light gym
Hmm.
that the owner at the time was just super hardcore. He was like, everybody must be lifting like their 5 rep max for every set kind of thing. And
Mm.
you can't lift anymore. And then he would just have you do like 30 reps per set of as close as possible to your 5 rep max. It just didn't make sense. And so you'd have
Wow.
injury after injury after injury. He eventually ended up closing down. But I kind of ran into this problem, and I was like, oh, I want to build a 24-hour gym. And I realized I couldn't afford it because I wanted to have all this equipment. I wanted to have a nice space. Anybody could access it. And I realized I would need 800 clients. And there's no way that I could fit 800 people in a 2,500 square foot place at any given time.
Hmm.
So I would have to assume that they would never show up. And I don't know about you, but that feels like stealing to me. So I was
Yeah, a
like,
little like a Planet Fitness model of
yeah,
selling memberships, hoping nobody shows up. Yeah.
yeah. And it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way the more I thought about it.
Hmm.
So I wrote 15 drafts of a business plan for personalized coaching. So just a boutique style gym. And I did it all based on Alex Hormozi's gym launch method.
Hmm.
So just build a model for the gym that puts as much income into the first 6 months of a client's journey as possible so that the business can really grow. And the ad spend pays for itself. Cool. And yeah, I've had past 3 years. It has been a wild ride getting this to launch. But we are now at a point where we're doing about just under 30K a month. I have 100 members
Wow.
active right now. We almost, my goal is to get to 160 by the end of this year. But we doubled our clientele every year since our first year. So our first year was 15. By the end of the year, second year, we got to 30. Third year, we got to 60-ish. And then that ended up cutting back. And then earlier this year, I was at 45, and now I'm at 100. So.
Wow. So, I mean, you seem to have cracked the code on one of the most common questions that I get, which is how do I get more clients? Can you walk me through a little bit more detail how you approach what your strategy is for that kind of growth with a 2,500 square foot space?
Yeah. So I spend a whole bunch of money on advertising.
Mm.
We spend about $100 a day on ad spend. And then I have a wonderful woman. Her name is Daisy. Men and women love women, so that's why. But she calls everybody who opts in to a program. And then I just get them in to talk to me or one of my sales guys. So they come in, they talk to us. We figure out what program is going to be best for them. We design it, we build it, and then we work with them on the floor from there. They all start with the same onboarding process. And then during that process, we sell them a membership at some point.
Interesting. So the initial contact is not a discussion around a membership. What's the initial offer that you are pitching?
I typically basically just do a challenge or a program, 6 weeks to 8 weeks, somewhere around there. It really depends on the client's goals. I have no idea how much we're going to be charging somebody when they come in. We have a general plan for how much what they need is going to be worth, and then we layer that through. So there are some people who literally pay me $20 a week, and there are some people who pay me $120 a week. And there are other people who are paying me way more than that for nutrition guidance on top of this. So it just kind of depends. But we get the program we charge up front for. So the client will come in and they're probably giving us a few hundred to a couple $1,000s for the first few weeks of their programming. And then we get them on for onboarding, where we should be selling them nutrition. So that's whatever other products that we have. We'll sell them those. And then on about like midway through the program or at the end of the program, we'll say, okay, would you like to join us for a membership? And then we offer them a prepay option if they want to pay for the whole year.
And can you share what are those different programs or those packages look like in terms of from a service perspective? Was that like a certain number of check-ins? Is that a certain number of times they have access to the gym? How do you control the delivery side of that, or the fulfillment side?
Yeah, I would not suggest doing what we do. I'm going to say that for everyone. I would not suggest doing what we do. But basically, we have no more than 6 clients to a coach. We call them Shapesmiths, and we call the clients adventurers, but we have no more than 6 clients to a coach. And we have 18 clients on the floor at once. And then they cycle through the room. So 6 people go here, then they go over there. And we don't even have to tell them, because we use TurnKey and we organize the room based on the program that we've given them in TurnKey. So every single client is getting semi-private programming, basically. And they're getting really, really deep, intense attention. And we can build the program specific to them because we use TurnKey for that. And then it's really, really simple for us to just build their TurnKey program. If they're in an extensive program that includes nutrition, I say at minimum, we're going to check in on 2 times a week at minimum for nutrition. But then there's a ton of like accountability measures and a ton of retention measures that we put in as well. I reach out. TurnKey sends your workout in the morning, right? But we also personally send a reminder before every session.
Oh, wow.
And then every single week, because
Uh-oh. Did I cut out or did you cut out?
I think we both did.
Oh, okay. Well, we're live. We're back again.
We're
Okay.
back. And then once a week, because TurnKey doesn't talk to the scheduling app that we use, we actually manually reach out, and then we do a pulse check with everybody every single week. So we say, hey, is your schedule going to be good this week? And then they're like, oh yeah, this will be fine. I'm coming in this day, this day, this day. And then we're like, okay, cool. And then we go and manually change TurnKey's schedule because they just don't integrate.
Well, so one of my questions that I was going to ask you was about, I love and notice how much geeky stuff you've got that you talk about, math, programming, reading. I've been kicking around an idea of adding, essentially a feature would enable you to access our API.
Mhm.
If you wanted to geek out, we already have some coaches that are kind of playing around with this already. But if you were interested, I can connect you with our API. And if you wanted to build your own developer ecosystem to automatically change workouts, because you can, modify programs, things like that. And you might be able to set up an interface to talk between your two systems if you wanted to.
Oh, that'd be a massive game changer. That'd be awesome.
One of our coaches is using it right now to sort of, he built some code as an intermediate step between how he's using LLMs to analyze his client's history, and then build recommendations and then build out actual program templates essentially, and then he can plug those directly into TurnKey Coach through the API with a little kind of code. He vibe coded a little connector app basically.
I have a 69-year-old, or is he 69? Yeah, he's a 69-year-old coach on my team who uses Perplexity exactly for that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk after, and I'll get you connected there.
That'd be awesome.
Because I think that's going to be, we have some skunk work projects going on right now to implement AI, but to get that to a production level quality is going to take us some time. But we have all the plumbing to enable people to leverage the API to automate things in the background. But enough about that. That's just a little side quest went on there, kind of on the geeky side. But back to your operating model, what pushed you to weave in those hybrid elements with in-person group coaching and online programming? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I do have a couple of online clients. It was a little weird. I just had a coach that was on the team for a while that was really big into barbell logic, and then he had a coach that used TurnKey and introduced me to it. And I saw it and was like, oh my God, this is what I've been needing this whole time. This is why I can't do what I wanted to do with the business.
Real quick on that, because I'm curious, because you were using another platform at the time. We don't have to name the platform if you don't want, but I'm curious what that aha moment was for you, that you recognized it.
Yeah, the other platform is called Dry Erase Board. It was a really intense platform where every single day the coach would have to make up an exercise and write it on a dry erase board every single time they came in. And half the time it was very clear that the coach had no idea what they were doing. So now I demand that you know what you're doing. So it's a lot harder for my coaches to do their job now. And when I saw what TurnKey could do, I said, oh, okay, so I can take this massive dry erase board where we're making up a workout that works for some people and is holding other people behind, and then is just too hard for some people as well. Instead of that, I can just say, okay, every single one of these people, if I treated them like they were an online client, I give them a general template program, and then I can progress and regress it based on whatever it is that they need. And now I don't have to print something out for everyone. I don't have to make up some kind of weird Google sheet for everyone, or Google Sheets sheet for everyone. I can just give somebody a direct program and then over time progressively overload them. And the nice thing that I definitely found with TurnKey was that I could add exercises. I'm really, really glad that's a feature, because we do a lot of rehab work. We do a lot of super bodybuilding style exercises that TurnKey didn't have when we were in there. And so it was actually just a ton of fun to just be able to implement this for the first time. And my clients actually came up to me and were like, you guys didn't know what you were doing before. And I was like, no, I just didn't have the equipment and the coaches. What are you talking about? And I was like, oh, you're right. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't.
So the ability to, while you're in the program or in the calendar, add an exercise and tag a demo video, or that helped streamline your coaching process and customize it. What I find interesting about what we're talking about here is that I have gotten some pushback that in-person gyms have a harder time seeing the value in TurnKey Coach from from an execution standpoint, and I think it's because there's a hesitation to customize to the individual for in a group class setting. Can you talk a little bit about how you manage that from a workflow perspective? When are you customizing the programs or modifying, writing them? Do you have like set time in the day? Because you're up to 100 clients now,
Yeah.
or 100 gym members. Every single one of them are getting customized programming. How do you manage that?
Yeah. So again, I really don't recommend doing exactly what I'm doing. Actually, just last weekend, I spent 7 hours rewriting every single client's program because we changed the way we manage the floor. And so I was planning on having my team do it, and then I realized that I didn't give them the resources and time. And so I said, I have to do this. And then I went in and personally did it. So I just expect that I'm going to pay my team 3 hours of labor. And so I give them up to 40 clients. They have by 11:59 Friday night every week to write everybody's programs. And then I have a master shapesmith, who's me right now, go through those programs and just double check. That person's job is not necessarily, fulfillment. It's their job is to coach the coaches, to teach the coaches how to write these programs and that sort of thing. I also went ahead and kind of made video tutorials as our general SOPs to teach people how to write programs. And then I made templates for the sections of my gym that will basically, they're the exact same template program, same beginner's program. Every new client gets the same program for the first 2 weeks while we assess what they can and can't do. And it's just reorganized based on where they are on the floor. Does that answer the question? Or?
Yes. No, that's helpful. Another geek out side quest opportunity that I think with some a little bit of elbow grease on the coding side, you could also use the API to do that supervision for you. So you could basically download the workouts, feed it into an LLM, and have it essentially evaluate the quality of the programs based on whatever context you want to give it or whatever guidance you want to give the LLM. You could say, here's my standards. Here are the workouts. Review them. Give me any recommendations, or highlight any issues that you think might be going on with that client.
That's awesome. Because we do everything in mesocycles, and then we have to manually go in. At least now, we just manually go in and edit every weight.
Right.
And I know that this API might actually be able to allow it to do that for us.
Yeah. There's definitely read, write, and write access in the API to the workout level. You'd probably want to sanity check it, but I'll connect you with our director of coaching development, Carl Schute, because he's the one that's been playing around with this, and it's pretty cool what he's done. He just, like I said, vibe coded this very crude tool that enables him to act as sort of an intermediary between conversations he's having with an LLM and just sort of spoon feeding it some context, mostly the workout data, and then he'll give it like an article that he wants to base the program off of, and then ask it to write a program, and then he can take that output and insert it to the app. So probably some opportunity there. And I've been looking for somebody who's nerdy enough to and has ideas of how they might use it, because we're trying to basically beta test some solutions that eventually, if we can find enough value to add using AI, maybe we implement it in a production way that everybody could benefit from. But anyways, again, side questing. Back to your story. So what have you found, so you had the aha moment, you recognize the value that TurnKey Coach could add. It sounds like we've got there's a lot of work involved in sustaining it. And I think that's maybe what you're willing to do that a lot of people are shying away from is maintaining that level of customization for that many clients. But it sounds like you
do it where you don't have to.
Okay, tell me more about that.
What I'm doing is super inefficient, and it's by design. But you could charge half as much as I do and still become rich by just giving everybody programs. Oh, did I lose you again?
Yeah, we're getting kind of choppy. I don't know if it's on my end or not, but
sorry about that. But yeah, if you just gave everybody a template and you worked through that template, you wouldn't necessarily have to be in there all the time. You can have all of your clients, like TurnKey makes it very easy to have all of your clients do the same thing. It's not like it's not like they all have to do something individualized. I just wanted to make sure that my clients were getting this experience specifically, and that's why I dove into this. But I mean, my business coaches yell at me all the time for this model. They think it's ridiculous. So,
well, I mean, it sounds like you're charging a premium for it though as well. Is that fair?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think there's definitely a trade-off there. It is a higher workload per client, but I personally, in this environment where templates are commoditized, workouts are commoditized, I think the higher service option is often going to win in the market.
I found that my coaches do better with this as well. Because I just say like, hey, I expect you to be able to do this. And then they learn how to do this. And then one, they're much better coaches overall because they understand theory much better. But two, they're like, oh, we're charging that much? Yeah, I better do better. Like, because that's way too much. If I'm
Do you mind me asking, I mean, what?
My average client is paying me at least $100 a week.
$400 a month. Wow.
Yeah, at least. And
that's coming in 3 times a week?
Yeah, that's 3 times a week. Yeah.
Awesome.
If they're doing nutrition, we're talking close to 300 a week. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So for folks out there that are trying to figure out how to build a hybrid model, what pitfalls have you dodged? And based on your real world experience, what do you think people should watch out for or think about as they're building a hybrid model?
So building a hybrid model, as in like online and in-house?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess you're focused essentially 100% on in-person and leveraging TurnKey Coach, but I guess the hybrid model in the sense that you're using TurnKey Coach to deliver programming while also coaching in person. So there's a little bit of a remote or asynchronous component to it with the program.
The biggest thing is, so the reason I'm 100% in for in-house is because I'm not ready for a second location. The moment I'm off the floor, I'm personally going to start hiring online coaches, and I'm going to go all in on that. And then market them into my next location. So then I have warm leads at that door, not cold ones. But the biggest pitfall I think people are probably worried about, or I think it would be having way too many online and in-house clients and spending way too much time on one and not the other. Whichever one is paying your bills is the one that you should be focused on first. Then the other stuff is a side quest.
Yeah.
It's just, you can do it. I have several online clients, but I found that they don't get as much attention from me as my in-house clients, unless I don't have any in-house clients to work with. So that was the biggest pitfall for me, was like, oh, but I can work with somebody in Texas. And it's like, why do I need to when I have 15 people here paying me more than that one person in Texas ever will? So I would focus on one until you're successful in that. And
Gotcha. Back. You said focus on one and then move to
and then range. Yeah. So if you're going all in on online, go all in on online and then build your location, because now you have all that reputation already, right? And the same deal here. If I've got my location, I'm trying to build as much goodwill as I can here. And then when I open up a place in a city that's actually bigger, I want to make sure that I at least have an online community in, like, say, Syracuse or something like that, where I can just be like, okay, well, we have a reputation here already established through our online coaching, and then let's put a location there as well.
Gotcha. So, I mean, that actually leads into what will be my last question, is kind of like the evolution of Bjorn Fitness going forward. And it sounds like TurnKey Coach is, Well, I guess one of the questions I was going to ask, it doesn't sound like you're using video feedback significantly for your clients right now. Is that fair, or do you?
Yeah, I've used it here and there when people are on vacation.
Yeah.
That's the really nice thing about it, is that I can follow people wherever they go. I can always
Right.
hold you accountable to your goals.
So it sounds like TurnKey Coach is supporting you right now for your in-person clients, 100 in-person clients, and then your online, your strategy going forward. Maybe you're going to leverage. TurnKey Coach will be able to grow with you, and
Mhm.
you'll be able to leverage even more features as you grow online and expand to a second location.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Talk to me, how would you mentioned picking another location that you would start online. Is that going to be through a paid ads kind of a strategy as well, where you can geolocate and try to build up clients in advance?
Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg is getting a lot of my money. So yeah, I would put paid ads in our next location. I'm not sure which of the three. I got three cities in mind. There's a cricket in my room. So I got three cities in mind, and I'm not sure which of the three I'm going to choose. But like, say, just because it's a city in New York, let's just say it's Syracuse. I'll geolocate ads, build up a reputation there as an online coach in that region, and then put a location down.
Mm-hmm. And you would use those challenges to build up revenue before you even committed to a location?
Yes, with the model that I have, you should theoretically be able to fill up a gym before you finish building it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like we just scratched the surface, but a lot of really valuable nuggets that I wouldn't be surprised if people want to reach out to you and maybe pick your brain more. So if folks do want to connect with you, what's the best place to get in touch?
Actually, ZandyQuest on Instagram is probably the best way to get a hold of me. So at ZandyQuest, ZandyQuest. Or they could go to, I'll just give you my email, al@bjornfitness.com, BJORN Fitness.
Awesome. I really appreciate it, Alexander. Thank you for sharing your time and your story and your strategy and tactics. I love what you're doing with the business and with TurnKey Coach, and looking forward to connecting you with our team a little bit more to see if you can geek out even more with the API and get more out of TurnKey Coach.
I'm excited, man. It's been an honor. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you again for the listeners in the Business of Coaching workshop. If you are interested in learning more, please feel free to schedule your free discovery call from turnkey.coach/BOC call, or you can go to turnkey.coach/disco and get on my calendar or Mac to see if TurnKey Coach can help you grow your business as well. And we will see you next week.